Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 1 of Going the Distance. I'm Nicholas Delgado, and I'm your host for everything to do with high school running in Central Illinois. Make sure to follow on Instagram at GoingTheDistanceIL and tune in every Wednesday for a new episode. Also new this week, check out our new website at www.goingthedistance.co, as I will be migrating all of our links and important information there. Thank you and enjoy this episode. It is a pleasure to be back with the Mid-Illini group. We are here starting Season 3. We have Ryan Craik, who is now a senior with us today. He's from Metamora. Aiden Thompson, senior from East Peoria. Bryce Banning, senior from Washington. And Josh Holloway, a senior from Pekin. And myself, I am Nicholas Delgado. I will be representing Morton. I am a senior. And we're going to be going around talking about some preseason outlooks today. So first, we're going to go around, talk about some individual goals that we have. And then we'll get into the team stuff as we're representing the Mid-Illini Conference. We don't have everybody here today, but hopefully as we get later into the season, we can get a larger amount of the conference represented here. So we'll start with Ryan. What are some individual goals you have for this season?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I would really like to make it to a state meet this fall. That's been a big goal of mine ever since I started running, and this is kind of my last chance to make it. So I'd love to be down there with the boys this year. Time wise, like ideally I'd like to hit 16:30, but if there's not really a meet with like perfect conditions or anything, I'm kind of chill with anything under 17 because that's a good barrier to break.
And then Aiden, what about you? I know you're coming in. You had a pretty strong track season, had a really strong last cross season. What are you looking to do this year?
Yeah, so like time wise, just kind of like I don't have a specific goal, just kind of like low 15s, like somewhere around there. And then for state, I'm hoping for top 25 for 2A.
Those are some great goals. All right, Josh, what are you looking to do this year?
So time-wise, I'm definitely wanting to go sub 15. I'm feeling in awesome shape this year. But honestly, anything like 15:10 or below, I would be, pretty fine with. I'm definitely gonna have the competition with Devin, of course, but also a lot of other kids in 3A. And then, like when it comes, I definitely want to make state. I haven't made state. Pretty tough to get out of sectionals in 3A, but at state, I would like to get hopefully around like top 50, top 75 at worst. And I would be pretty happy to end my senior year with that.
And then Bryce, finally, what are you looking to do this year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can give you like an exact time. I think more my goal just over this past like summer training has been to go in with like my outlook for each meet is just going to be give it my all, do the most for my team as I can as possible. If I were to give you a time, I think I'd be very happy if I could shoot around 15:45, and if I could get lower, I mean that would just make it even better.
Awesome. So we're going to move on a little bit. I know Ryan's been working on his conference rankings, so we're going to start just going around talking about our team. I know teams are a little bit different, so this time we can start with Josh. Pekin's outlook this year. I know you guys are 3A. You guys have a bit of a rough time competing in more of a team sense once you get into postseason. But what is the team looking to do this year? How's your outlook looking? Any new key additions that you have? Any big losses? Just walk me through what you guys are thinking through the first week of practice.
Yeah. We definitely have a way bigger team than we did last year, which is nice. We don't really have any insanely strong or good incoming freshmen, at least right now. We're still trying to get them used to like the mileage and the like upping the intensity from junior high to high school. But like we should be able to get through regionals again as a team this year. That's kind of like the main goal is just to make sectionals as a team. It's basically again just like last year. It's basically me and Devin Hayes. Us two will be, really, dropping the hammer down in times and really hoping to compete at, all the way up to state, at least, and then it drops down to Braden Anderson and Chuck Wyman, and they're around 18 flat right now, going off of last year's PR. They're hoping to run around sub 17 this year, both, which would definitely help the team. And then our 5, 6, and 7 just really need to step up. There's a lot of guys that could come in and fill those spots in.
So what it sounds like is you and Devin top front are good, really good front two there. I know you went out to Colorado this summer, went to a camp. What's Devin looking like right now? I know he's been posting as he's in tip top shape. Do you know anything about that? How are you guys looking with that outlook right there? Like, is that something that is going to be a big surprise coming in this year for people who might not follow you guys?
Honestly, yeah, Devin's looking really strong this year. He is definitely not playing around. He's done a few time trials this summer. To me, a few too many, but he's definitely dropping some really good times in his time trials, and he's definitely going to be a really strong runner this year. Me and him will probably be really neck to neck, like in about every single race. I think a lot of people be kind of shocked where like his first couple races, the times he's running. Since last year, his PR was 16:20. But yeah, he's definitely doing good training this summer. When I came back from Colorado, we started training together right away, and we're looking really strong as a duo.
Awesome. So, we'll get to more conference standings later when we get to Ryan and his standings, but that sounds really strong. Hopefully you guys can make it far. And then as we catch up again later in the season, as we go closer to conference, we'll have to check up on your 5, 6, and 7, see how that's going. But Bryce, I know Washington has some key additions this year. We have the Rinkenbergers. Talk a little bit about that and what you guys are looking to do as a team this year.
Yeah, so last year was kind of our I would like to think kind of like a warm up for us. We kind of knew we'd at least have another year just to hone our craft, I guess you could say. But yeah, this is kind of like the pinnacle of what we've been training for. Is this season we got in our top 7, we should have at least 3 seniors, being me, Sam Tellefson, and Milo Rinkenberger. Yeah, like you mentioned, we'll be getting the Rinkenbergers, so Fish and Milo, who we unfortunately did not have this year, or last year, I mean, but we have them back, so I think that's going to make our team even stronger. I think we're in a good spot right now. We've been working hard, putting in a lot of good effort. I think we had a strong performance at Detweiler at Dark, and I think going from there, I think it's going to keep getting better.
Awesome. So, talk about your top 5 right now. What do you got? Do you think what are your times looking like? What do you think you're going to get down to? I know you guys ran Detweiler at Dark, so I know that was a really odd race, but just throw out a couple things, what you guys are looking at for this year.
Yeah, so our top 2 guys would be Fisher, Rinkenberger, and then Sam Tellefson, who I think will get I know they'll get sub 15:20, and then like 3 through 6, we're all hoping to get under 16. I think I know that's manageable. I know we'll be able to get that. So yeah, that would just be get like Milo, Charlie Borland, me, Owen Spezio, just trying to get some of those guys, try to get them under 16. And I mean, we got over 3 months until state. If we're able to just stay healthy, focus on our training, not to peak too early, I totally believe that we'll be able to do that.
Awesome. Aiden, moving on to Unis Peoria, you had a pretty large loss last year. Matthew Gray was up there for you guys. He's been up there for a while. What are you guys looking like this year? Do you have any key returners or anybody coming up that's going to be important? Because I know last year you guys were already kind of fighting for your spot in the conference. So what's it looking like this year?
Yeah, we pretty much had our entire varsity team gone. We have 2 returners from the varsity team, me and Colin Kinzer, who was, the 7th place runner last year. And for a while, it didn't even look like we were going to have a full team this year. But we got 6 people together. Another returner, Logan Bader, probably be our 3. He'll be a sophomore, so hopefully he can have a lot of improvement there, and then 2 freshmen that will hopefully just be able to develop a little bit and have a good season for them.
So, what do you? I'm not too familiar with times there. Did do any of them have postseason experience? And if not, what are they? Do you think you guys are going to be able to get race ready and get some experience before you have to get into the postseason this year?
Yeah, I mean, definitely not a lot of postseason experience from them, but hopefully, our training can get us ready for that and put us in the best position possible to, just go out and do our best and try and fight for whatever we can.
Awesome. And then moving on, Ryan and Metamora, you definitely have a couple important key additions here, and definitely a few key returners, but you also have some key losses. So talk just in general how your team is shaping up this year throughout the summer and through this first week of practices, and what some goals are that you guys might have.
Yeah, so from last year, we're returning 4 guys from our varsity squad. Trey is a big one, obviously. He was, just barely under 16 last year, 15.56, I think. He's kind of been struggling with injury as of late, but I think he's getting into PT, and he's got stuff helping him out. So I think he should be all right for sure, by the postseason and stuff, which is when we'll really need him. And then Wyatt Baker is our number 2 returner. And he finally started getting good at the end of the season. He started trying and went from an 18 flat to a 17.08. He just popped off. And if he tries the whole season and puts in effort, he can be a lot better too. And then I'm supposed to be our number 3 returner. I'm the most experienced guy on the team. I'm one of maybe 2 seniors that'll be on the varsity team. And then we also have Wilbert Eppinger, who he's going to be a sophomore this year. And he had a good cross country season, but he really excelled in track. He ran 2:02 for the 800, I think. But he's looking to be really good right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he's faster than me. But kind of the big thing we've got is Zach Bourne, who I think won state 6 times in the past 2 years in middle school. Cross country twice and 800 and 600 twice, I think. He is also doing basketball in the winter, so he's kind of been splitting up his time between basketball and cross during the summer. But I think he's still going to be solid. He and Trey should be our 1 and 2 runners the whole season. We've had kind of a couple disappointing ends to the season the past 2 years. I think we've missed state by less than 20 points both years. So we're really gunning for it this year. We want it a lot. Being at Detweiler with the team would be awesome. We've sent individuals down both years, but that's obviously not as good as getting the team down there. I think someone else who is going to be a really good addition this year, well, not new addition, but Max Palacios is a senior, and he's made crazy improvements during the summer. I think his best last year was a 1940, and he ran 1820 something at Detweiler at dark, which was obviously not good conditions already. So he probably would have been under 18 without that. So I think he's definitely been on our varsity team, is going to be a really huge guy for us. But again, just getting down to the state meet is our big goal for the year.
Awesome. So now talking a little bit from the Morton end, we definitely have a lot of key returners. We are losing Chase from our top 5, who was a big loss, but we do have people filling in the gaps. So we still have Josh, and then Jonas, who has put in a ton of work this summer, which if you follow the podcast or just know the Morton team, that is it's going to be a big help this year, and it's going to be really important that he's coming in to fill that number 2 role that he already was last year, but now he has so much more of an aerobic base under him, so that's going to be really important. Christian, huge strides during the track season. Same with Leighton, running a 157, I believe. And those are going to be really key 3 and 4 runners. And then another key addition that we have is Boston Bayer, who has run track, but he has played football the past 2 years. But we have convinced him to come out from cross, and he is now tempoing around so slightly under 540 pace. So him and Josh have actually been doing their workouts together, so there's a chance that he goes up and he really improves this year and just drops some crazy times. So our top five is looking pretty good. Then to round out the back end, we have me, Phil Canopy, and Paul Yance, and then a few incoming freshmen, Noah Harris, Christian's brother, and Houston Bayer, Boston's brother. And those two, we'll see how they perform this year. Obviously, the freshmen don't have a ton of experience. However, they will continue to improve a ton. That's just what freshmen do. So it'll be pretty awesome to see what they can do by the end of this year. I remember my freshman year, I always improved a ton. So I think there's a lot to look out for Morton here, not just in conference, but as we talk closer to the state meet even. But now this is where I'll turn to Ryan. I know Ryan has a lot of his stats book. He's just been researching all the time. So I'll hand it off to you for a little bit. Just talk about what the outlook on our conference is, and then if you have any information, maybe even stretching farther into postseason, just outlooks for each team, what you think is possible. Just obviously very quick early preseason glance, but just what you have in mind and what you've been looking at.
Okay, yeah. So I've got like actual numbers from last season, but I'm just kind of gonna ignore that for now, because a lot's gonna change with like newcomers and everything else. But for me, and I think probably everybody else, Morton is the easy number one pick for the conference. I mean, returning 3 guys under 16, Christian was right there. Nicholas probably would have been too without injury, and getting Boston Bayer, that's probably top 6 under 16 realistically. Probably at least 3 or 4 under 15-30. So they're realistically just going to roll everyone in the team score in the conference. I think they have definite potential for a state trophy. And I think as long as Nicholas can stay healthy, and they've got either Boston or Nicholas as that 4 or 5 guy, I think they have real potential for a state championship again this year. I think Washington is probably the second best team in the conference, I would say, because I think there's definite potential for 5 under 16 between Sam, Bryce, the Rankenbergers, and Charlie Borland. Sam already was, and I think he went out to Colorado this year with Josh. Well, not with Josh, but they were there at the same time. And I think he'll definitely make improvements this year. Bryce and Charlie were like 16:30 or lower. And then Fisher already ran like 16:11 at Detweiler, so he probably would have been like, I don't know, 15:40, 15:50 realistically without that heat. I think Owen Spezio also could be very solid. I think he was just shy of breaking 17 as a freshman, so he'll probably make some good jumps this year. I think Dunlap and Metamora can probably fight for the 3 spot. Dunlap, like based off numbers last year, Dunlap's like 20 points ahead of Metamora. But I think with the addition of Zach Bourne for Metamora, that's going to close the gap a lot, because that'll shave off probably a good minute and a half or 2 minutes from like the number 5 to the number 1 or 2. But I mean, Dunlap's still got Jacob Gladstone as the expected front runner, and then Luke Williams, Charlie, Luke Sieb, all right there as well, like high 16s, low 17s. And then I think both of them could make runs at the state championship. I'm guessing we'll both be up at Geneseo for sectionals this year, which kind of sucks, but like it is what it is.
Before you continue, that's something that I think I'm not sure a lot of people know about, so maybe give a little insight on that Geneseo situation that occurred this summer.
So from what I know, apparently Metamora was supposed to host the sectional meet again this year, but Geneseo decided to request to host the sectional, which I don't know about you guys, but I'm not overly pleased with that because I think there's a chance that we're going to get some Chicago teams in our sectional, which is not amazing. But, you know, we'll just have to make do with what we've got. So it looks like we're going to be hosting regionals now. So we'll still have one postseason race at home, but the Metamora sectional is gone this year, unfortunately. But now I'll talk about a team that doesn't really have to deal with that. Pekin is stuck in 3A still. But I think Pekin could be very good this year. Josh and Devin as those two front runners are like really strong. And then it drops off a little bit. Well, not a little bit, a lot. But Braden and Chuck, both high 17s, low 18s. If they can make improvements on that 3 and 4 spot down to just under 17, just right at 17, I think that could be good. And then they'll definitely need a 5th guy to step up because right now it's projected to be like 1850. But if they can get that number 5 spot down, I think they can, like Josh was saying, I think they can definitely make it into sectionals. Probably not state, but I think Josh and Devin will be at state this year. Limestone, I don't believe Limestone's projected to have enough guys for a team score. I think Jack said they have like 3 guys that are coming out for the team. I'm not sure which ones it is, but I know Caden Bell isn't coming back. But Jack Manley made huge improvements during the track season. He went, so his cross country PR was 17:11, and he ran I think 9:57 or 8, maybe 9, something like that, 57, 58, 59, something like that during track. He told me he put on like 30 pounds of muscle over the winter, so hopefully that translates well to cross country. I'd like to see him do really well because he's a really awesome guy. Canton, I genuinely don't really know anything about them. I know Dusty Bickle isn't coming back, which is really sad. But Zach Ligenfelter ran a couple races last year. He was pretty good. You know, if he comes back, he might qualify for sectionals or something. I don't know. And then East Peoria, I had them at the bottom because I didn't know if they were going to have a team score or not. But like Aiden said, they'll have a team score. So I think they'll definitely beat Limestone and Canton because they won't have team scores. Maybe fight with Pekin. I don't know. Probably not. But Aiden is a really strong front runner for that. He's coming back number 4 in the conference. And then they lost Colin Hieronymus, but they still have Colin Kinzer and Logan Bader with experience. And they added a few guys. I'm trying to think of the names. I know one of them was Caden Sims. I forget the other freshman boy, but they've got Mason Brown too, which is huge for them. He's a really good addition. So, I mean, realistically, East Peoria. Oh, yeah, Callan Roth. That's the other freshman. East Peoria is realistically not making it to sectionals as a team, but I think Aiden is definitely going to have a good run in the postseason. He'll definitely go to state again. And I honestly think there's potential for all-state for him. Realistically, other like individual runners, like Morton has a lot of good individual runners. Josh, Jonas, Layton, Christian, Boston, Nicholas. They're going to be all really good in the postseason. I think Josh and Jonas should be all-state for sure. The way Boston's running, I think there's a chance too. Trey Helwig is returning number 3 in the conference. But I mean, again, with injury, depending on how that treats him, he may struggle a little this season, but I'm hoping he still does well. And then the other guys left that are returning, like projected first team all conference. Sam Tellefson returning just under 16. He should, I don't know realistically like what Bryce would think, but I would say maybe 15-30. ish if he continues to improve. And then Josh Holloway again is up there right at 16. So he'll, like you said, his summer training was good. He thinks he can make a run at under 15. I think it's possible. I think he's got it in him. And then the last one is Devin Hayes. You know, Devin, he's a pretty good runner. I'll give that to him. He's done a lot of time trials over the summer. Too much in my opinion. I think there's a chance he burns out, but you know, I'm not going to say anything's definite. I know he ran a 15:10 3-mile on the track, but again, that's on the track and he was paced to it, so it'll be a lot different in cross, but I think he'll be under 16 for sure. I think that's kind of all I've got for like teams and individuals, but Mid-Illini is going to be very good this year.
Yeah, awesome. So, just one more thing, wrapping it up before we gonna finish this episode. We'll start with Josh here, but just give one name of somebody on your team that we should be watching out for this upcoming season. Doesn't necessarily need to be like the best runner or somebody fast, just somebody you think is going to make some big improvements. So we can start with Josh and Pekin. Josh, you're muted.
So honestly, there's two people that I gotta say, real quick. The first one's Devin Hayes. I mean, he's gonna come back really strong. He's gonna probably at least drop a minute off his PR from last year, which was 16:20. So he's at least gonna run 15:30. He'll probably go to state if he stays healthy, and doesn't burn out. And then the other kid is actually an incoming freshman, Hayden Riley. He's probably our best incoming freshman. He ran like 11:55 in cross last year and junior for 2 miles, and he's still trying to get used to like the upping the intensity and mileage that our team does, but he should be pretty strong when it comes to like later in the season, and he'll definitely be on our top 7, so he'll be definitely racing in the varsity race at conference and regionals. And yeah, we're hoping he can, run at least sub 18 as a freshman, which I mean isn't amazing, but as a freshman, it's not bad.
Awesome. So Bryce, give me one name of somebody you think is gonna show up this year on your team.
One name. Can I give like a few?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna say Sam Tellefson because I think he's gonna really pull through this season, but also Jacob Hall. He hasn't been someone that I feel like has been on people's radar, but I think the training's starting to work for him. He's getting faster. Gonna be a junior this year. I think we could see some drops from him. And then also Seth Larson did very good in track, and I think he's just gonna continue carrying that on into cross country.
Awesome. Aiden, what about you? I know you have a little bit of a limited pool here, but
Yeah, I think from like everything I've seen so far, I think it's definitely going to be Caden Sims. I just feel like he's so far out of everyone else has kind of put in the most work and is hopefully going to make the most improvement. I know he ran like 16 minutes in junior high, but I think he's going to have a good season.
awesome. And then rounding it up with Ryan.
So I mentioned him earlier, but Max Palacios has made serious improvements over the summer. So he's going to be a senior. So I think he's going to be really good. He's not going to be like, Josh Weeks level or anything like that. But in terms of like improvement and having a spot in our varsity team, he's going to be very good. Max Lovin is a junior, and he's been running with our varsity team like the whole summer. So I think he's going to improve a lot as well. And Zach Bourne is like the obvious new addition. That's going to be really good. He ran, I think his PRs are 10:25 for 2 miles, 4:35 for the mile, 2:03 for the 800. I think he ran like a 54-400 or something, but that doesn't really translate to cross country. But he's definitely gonna be one to watch. Um, Again, he's splitting up his time between basketball and cross, but I think he's still going to be very good.
Awesome. So I'm gonna round it out. I'm gonna cheat my own little game as well. I'm gonna give two names. Jonas Wasrich, I think, is actually gonna surprise a lot of people this year. He is so naturally talented, and he has come out, had really great seasons, purely off of in-season training. And I think this year with he's been very consistent this summer. I think he's going to come in. Like last year, he came in and he ran like 17 his first meet. I think he's going to start off about where he left off last year at the beginning of the season. And I think that's going to be a really key addition for us up top. We're going to have a really strong 1 and 2 when it comes down to postseason. And then the other name I know I've mentioned, Boston Beyer. He's new to cross. Well, he ran in junior high, but he's coming back only from running track the past 2 years. And I think he's going to have a stellar year. I think we're going to have a great top 5, top 6, top 7. I just think Morton's looking deeper than ever this year, actually. I think our freshman year was a pretty deep, or my freshman year, so that was 2020. And this season, I think it's going to be even deeper than that. I think we have a really good outlook on the season. Next week, I'm going to have Ryan on again. We're going to talk about more local teams. We're going to talk about, classes moved a little bit, so there's going to be some of that to talk about. I know U-High getting bumped up to 2As for guys is a really big deal there. And then go over Detweiler Dark a little bit. But before we get off, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Bryce, Aiden, and Josh. They all came out and supported the Going the Distance 5K charity run. Ryan would have. I know he would have, but he was gone. But it was the day after Detweiler Dark. It was a great run. If you missed it, don't worry. I'll have it again next year. We raised $2,750 for the Salvation Army through donations and signups for the run. Make sure to check out our new website at goingthedistance.co. It is a very great new website that I just designed. It's got everything about the race on it. So if you wanted to go look up pictures, if you missed that, and results, there's where you can find it. And you can also find all our social media and latest information that will all be updated on that page. I'm going to slowly try and transition off of my Linktree link and get everything onto this website. So make sure you go check that out if you haven't already. I appreciate everybody who listens and who came out to support the run and everything that I've been going through this summer. It's been a lot of work, and it was great to finally get to see it pay off. But thank you to everybody who came on the podcast today. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, Aiden. And I will see you guys next week, and then I'll talk to you, the rest of you guys, later in the season. So thank you guys for coming out. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. This was Season 3, Episode 1 of Going the Distance. We will be back once a week, every Wednesday. Don't forget to tune in. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one.